I just was testing these headphones I had. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it. New game, new wave. We're doing new things. Moving it. We're doing our thing. Get ready. DMZ, full throttle. Money Buddha. Wake up. Now, that's a good question. We're just doing our thing. All right, let's move on our thing. Everybody, make sure we got our screen. We got our movement. 2222 Money Buddha. Ha. It's the Money Buddha Show, Money Buddha Show. I'm gonna put this on Omni. I'm gonna do Omni. Yo, okay. Let's do Omni. Let's do Omni. Let's do Omni. Let's do that thing. All right, boys and girls, let's move on it. Projects. This is the Money Buddha Show. It's the Money Buddha Show. We're just moving out, doing our thing. Make sure you remember your training.
Or robots that don't need to eat, sleep, or breathe, it becomes very hard to defend yourself against tyranny. The scope of technology is way out of control. It's anti-American, in my opinion. It's unconstitutional, in my opinion. The government should not have these types of weapon systems. Certainly, if the average American citizen isn't allowed to have them in some capacity, and it's all being used and justified that it's for our security. And all the great patriots in the history of our country agreed. When you give up your freedom for security, you end up with neither. And that's what we're looking at now. The people of Maui are completely unprotected and undefended. If a certain individual party did want to burn Maui with a direct energy weapon, and that's the real problem we should be looking at.
Man, I'm looking at
and
that zombie.
I have all the videos. We played some of them. Hundreds of explosions and then fires all starting along the power lines, which they left turned on, which they did not trim the trees from. You've driven all over the country. You've been in the NBA. I mean, I've not been anywhere in the country where they don't cut the trees back from the power lines, but not in that area of Maui. I mean, you don't trim the trees, you leave the power on when a hurricane hits. I mean, you know what's going to happen. That's 2 + 2 = 4.
And Alex, you've been saying for years, and I think it was on your show, one of the first people who I saw talk about HAARP and the ability for the United States government to manipulate the weather. And I mean, we talk about the rarity of tropical storms and hurricanes even hitting Hawaii in the first place. Who's to say that isn't another part of advanced technology and weapon systems? We don't know. That's the main point here. We don't know. The lack of transparency from our government around advanced technology and weapon systems is completely unacceptable for American citizens.
They say you need to start having
absolutely. Go back to that footage. Again, that's a large Air Force aircraft with a laser.
There ain't really a schedule.
That could literally
when I'm on,
fire all day long on you.
Stream for long,
and that's the reality. They got drones with it, everything. So let's talk about this. We have Hurricane Hillary. We'll put it on screen. To threaten flooding rain in California, Nevada, and Arizona. Well, this was a dry hurricane without any rain that hit Hawaii, but it's only in these key areas the globalists wanted. They didn't clear the brush and do this. But if we look at what's about to hit California, and I was saying this earlier and I forgot to do it, the UN Agenda 21, 1992 Rio de Janeiro Treaty that George Herbert Walker Bush signed on to, the Senate didn't ratify, but we're still under it, under UNESCO, to set up everything that we're now up to with Agenda 2030 and the deindustrialization plan, and the clock ticking down, them telling us it's the end of the world. They have a policy of not trimming the trees and brush on the highways. That's official. So the only other state that doesn't do this other than Hawaii is California. But again, they do it in the rich areas. They don't do it in the poor areas, knowing it's then going to burn them out. Then they take their property. So I would look for some more big wildfires and problems now, specifically because if you leave the power on and you do not have the trees trimmed, it's going to start giant fires, period. That's why.
Well, I'm not in the United States Senate yet, but if I was in the United States Senate and I was on the Senate floor, I would be calling for a full investigation into what took place in Maui, and I would also call for my fellow Senate and Congress men and women to sign a legislation that called for the transparency of some of these weapon systems for the American people. The American people are not so feeble, they're not so weak, they're not so fragile that they can't defend themselves in the interim of understanding the full scope and capacity of some of these technologies and weapon systems. You know, yes, Russia has certain advanced weapons, absolutely. China has certain advanced weapons, yeah. But our military, just like JFK and Eisenhower pointed out, our military using their capacity as a justification to keep us in the dark is unconstitutional. And that's a part of being an American citizen. Yeah, we open ourselves up to strategic, to losing tactical advantage with some of our enemies in the interest of freedom.
Well, let's expand on that. Look, we just saw the Pentagon, not our average troops. People think the Pentagon's going to save us. It's globalists at the top, 95%. They ran the release of the virus that's coming out. They ran the response. They ran the PSYOPs. They ran the lockdowns. That's been declassified. So that's what's happening. And so the idea that they would then use it against us or use drones to do it so they have plausible deniability has to be looked at.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it needs to be investigated. And my cry to the American people is, it's going to hurt. We open ourselves up to the unknown. Sure, China could attack us in the middle of the night. We could lose tactical advantage if we get the transparency from our own government and third-party, independent, private sector contractors or whoever it is that's doing that work for us. Yeah, we may lose some tactical advantage. That's the courage of what it means to be an American. But what's more dangerous, in my opinion, than our enemies, such as China or Russia or whoever else, what's more dangerous is being completely in the dark to what our military is capable of. And direct energy weapons and what happened in Maui is just an example. You see the headlines popping up now, all of the justification and excuses and circumstance of what happened, and the power went off for this reason, and the sheriff there or the chief of police there is the same chief of police from Las Vegas, and that's just a coincidence, and blah 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 blah. It's always all just a big coincidence. I mean, there is no conspiracies, but there are no coincidences either.
The water's turned off, the sirens aren't turned on, the trees aren't trimmed, the power's left on, 12-mile exclusion zone, kicking the media out. And there's a whole bunch of people reporting this. This is a well-known, I looked him up, respected old man that's lived in town his whole life in Lahaina. Lahaina, I always say it wrong. And here he is talking about the police blocking people getting out. Here's the clip.
So when I seen that thing on their chat, I'm trying to tell you.
The speed of this wind, it could be here in 2 minutes. And
so about what time was this at? By the way, if you guys don't know who this is Fish. He's been sitting next to Cheeseburger in Paradise, selling the most awesome stuffs, right, for years. He's like a legend, and everyone loves Fish, and Fish loves everybody. But he's one of the wisest people that I know, the way. Anyway, Fish, continue.
So I went around back to Front Street.
So then when I came around there, man,
were lined up, but none of them were moving. And I walked all the way from Safeway to the Chart House. Not one car had moved. And I was wondering what
you know what I'm saying? It's not a science.
But it was a policeman. And I got to the end and I looked up north. There were no obstructions. There was no reason to keep those cars there.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right.
So he said he's under orders. They're under orders now. Everybody's got their own orders. We all got our own orders.
And I keep walking down the highway.
Trying to do our thing.
No cars.
Money Buddha.
I walked all the way to White Beach. Still no
Make sure you all subscribe tonight. This is a crazy episode we're doing tonight. Super special.
There were people screaming and stuff.
You're saying they were blockaded
Totally.
in by the police? At the end of Front
Too
Street?
hot for YouTube.
Like,
you know I'm doing
where that restaurant is.
Where the Chart House.
Where the Chart House was, I should say. There was a blockade there, and they could not go in.
DMZ special event.
What the hell?
I walked all the way from Safeway to there, not one car had moved.
Oh, I gotta
all
mute
the way to, like I said, the Civic Center.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first game of the day, guys. So.
And there was no one walking behind me or on bicycles or anything. And I just...
Dude, that is unbelievable.
I have no idea.
No drill, bogeys. All units prepare to engage. This is not a drill. All units. First game of the day. Time to get some headshots.
Yeah.
And you just hunkered down for the thing.
We got bogeys. Bogeys on me.
General Flynn got criticized a few days ago for saying that we can't be like the Jews in World War II, where they have one guard for every 500 people, loading them on cattle cars and splitting their families up. Because word had been out they were being shipped off to be, forced labor and killed. They call it anti-Semitic. No, he's saying, why did they do that? Well, why did these people wait? And I'm not saying the cops were even conscious they were following orders, which is terrible. But this has come out. Why were there all the cars lined up? Nothing was blocked. They told them to stay there because the administrators, this just adds to it, want everybody dead so they can't stand up for their land when they take it. So it'll be their family members in another state or another country that then come and they can be told what to do by the system. This was a genocide, an extermination of the most valuable land in the United States of America. On record is that town that the globalists wanted to build on and failed this year to be able to get control of and build high-rises. And I've checked, other locals are saying the same thing happened. I'm going to talk to a reporter on the ground coming up, Royce White, but that is damning.
Hell yeah, boys and girls.
Yeah, I don't know
so
about
just
you,
remember,
Alex,
dog, we got to
start
get this
making
electrical
some
tape.
T-shirts. Our buddy Fish there is a real
I got to
hero,
get the
and
last of these items so we don't die.
Deplorables all around the country that
You
maybe
know,
aren't
everything was gravy.
highly
How was everybody
educated or
doing
part of
on
the
there?
aristocratic wine society, but
We're
they
just
make
keeping it
basic
fucking
observations
tight.
and they want to ask
High and
basic
tight,
questions,
high
and
and
they're being
tight.
called crazy. That's why my podcast is
Trying to
titled
keep
Please
it
Call Me
cool.
Crazy.
You
You
know, we
can
don't
see
wanna
it
get
later on
banned
tonight
again. YouTube
at 9 p.m. on YouTube. If you get the
We're
chance,
too
also
naughty.
on Rumble at
We're too
9
naughty
p.m.
for
and
you,
it's
Jim.
available on all the major audio platforms as well. Godspeed, man.
Absolutely. I skipped the break.
Make sure
Can
you
leave
are
right now
fighting
for
that
questions?
government corruption.
Oh, keep going. Yeah, I thought we were going through the
No,
break.
you're looking at the time. Well, I
Get
skipped
that money. Make sure you getting that money.
So,
Contact.
the issue here is, I heard this 8 days ago when it happened. The police were walking around.
Getting that money, honey.
And I went and checked, and more witnesses are saying, but we can't find out what happened because we can't get in to talk to them because they're blocking the media. And I'm about
We're
2
gonna
inches
extract. I
away
need to get these two electrical
from
tapes
getting
out.
on an airplane. I don't like going to jail. Hawaii never really became a free state after it was seized by the U.S. military, and then, supposedly became a state. It's nice people, but it's not really free. If I go, I'm going into Lahaina, and I'm not going to be stopped. In fact, I was about to get tickets yesterday when Jason Jones called me and said he was already there. He's done reporting for us, but that pisses me off.
So make
That's
sure
a
y'all
crime
moving
scene
on that
of
one.
them
Let me double check. I gotta
Cutting
keep
off the water,
monitoring this
cutting off the
thing.
sirens,
So I
not
don't want
cutting the
fucking
trees,
you.
keeping the power
You're
on.
doing fucking cut this bitch off
And now
on,
they're
bro,
trying
on
to
you,
cover it
bro.
up. I mean, I agree with what you wrote on the side of your head,
Yeah,
Ross.
I'm about
You need to
copyright.
investigate now.
Yeah, we need to
I'm
investigate.
talking about free use.
Now,
What about
now
freedom,
I'm more
though?
concerned that you're actually still
I be
getting
saying,
on,
what
on
about
airplanes,
freedom?
Alex. That bothers you. Don't get on another airplane, man. You're too important. Don't get on another airplane, especially some little private jet maintained and maintenance by some third-party contractor to go to Hawaii.
You know, what about freedom?
What's going on in Hawaii? Too easy to take you out.
Well, don't worry. I'm not flying on private jets to Hawaii.
Okay.
No, I'm flying on
Don't get on any plane. Okay, the big boys.
We're on the move.
Okay,
We're on the move. All units.
And I also
don't be afraid.
Last minute, because I know that's their favorite way.
Remember your training. Remember your training.
I know it.
Senator Wellstone, here in the great state of Minnesota, I'm running for office. He took
not a drill. This is not a drill.
Rural Minnesota, I think, and never came back. Some real controversy and legislation around.
I'm a different type of YouTuber. We do this a little differently over here in this camp.
He wasn't playing ball.
I'm not your friend. I don't want to be your friend.
We got to be open to all possibilities now. There's some hardline issues we need to draw a line in the sand on, but understand.
But I
also
will
that
teach
people
you a thing
worldview
as your fellow American.
Like RFK, and I think his family's legacy and John's legacy is what it is. But yeah,
you read my mind. I was about to ask your view. I respect your view on RFK Jr.
You know, RFK, I love what he's doing. I love what he's saying. I mean, he's a
RFK Jr., the presidential. Make sure you all are learning about your presidential candidates.
2 years ago with the
you know, make sure you're understanding what's going on.
Project came together to fight
Get your mind out of your ass, get out of your ass, put your mind in your ass.
On the phone with him. I like a lot of what he's saying. I disagree with him on some things politically.
I got my guys on the train right here. We're on the train. What are you guys doing? That's not the Dems direction. Extraction. You're gonna die there.
And that can tell me a lot of what I need to know.
You're gonna die. I'm on the move.
From the
this
outset.
is 259 or Westwood,
especially in this interview with Tucker regarding the inception of our recent conflict with Russia and Ukraine.
Are you flying in the air?
He has that intimate knowledge of it because John and his father were involved in some of those negotiations and talks in the history of Russia. So I love what he's doing. I hope if they when they railroad him in the DNC with the Democratic nomination, that President Trump and him will form that super ticket. And everybody goes, he's bad on this, he's bad on this. Same people go, well, Trump's bad on this, he's bad on that. Look, they're all going to need people to rally behind them to help shape and form and guide, like an Alex Jones, like Steve Bannon, like Lewis White, or whoever these other people are going to be, to help guide them in this next chapter. Donald Trump put some very bad people around him in the beginning that I wouldn't agree with. This time, I think he's probably learned a valuable lesson. Should we throw the baby out with the bathwater? No, all of us who walk into D.C., myself included, are going to go through the growing pains of having snakes around us. That's just the swamp that we have allowed to manifest and grow there in D.C. So anybody who we elect is going to have some growing pains and issues. I think RFK could help Donald Trump greatly.
Well, if anybody's learned about the deep state, it's RFK. They murdered his father in front of him, and they murdered his uncle. And he was naming names of the CIA guys. I love it. He was on Tucker. He said, deathbed confession. You know who got that narrative? Myself and George Norrie. We broke the